Hello everyone, and here we are with July games, which unintentionally ended up being sort of a retro month. Setting that tone was on the very first of the month, Final Fantasy VII. And what is there to say about Final Fantasy VII that hasn't already been said? We got a guy with a sword that's clearly compensating for something, that cross-dresses and goes on dates, and he's got some kind of relationship with this long-haired, chick-looking dude, Sephiroth, and I think it might be like a jilted lover situation. And there's some environmental themes, and it's really uncomfortable because it starts out with you as part of a terrorist group, because this is a game that happened before 9/11. And the terrorists in question mostly get killed, except for one of them, and he seems completely unrepentant. Like, he's all about how horrible this big corporation Shinra is, but at no point does he own up to the fact that by blowing up a reactor, he probably made tons of innocent people suffer incidentally for his moron cause. And incidentally, in the game, you never actually get anything to prove that Mako energy is bad and that terrorist good. We're just supposed to kind of take their word for it. We go visit a hippie commune, but there again, they don't offer any proof. They just have this really elaborate planetarium set up, which not everyone in your party gets to see, which I think is kind of fucked up, but that's beside the point. Oh, and it's an early game where you actually have to choose a love interest, because there's like this hippie bitch who probably smells bad, and then there's like Tits McGee that's kind of jumping down the protagonist's pants, even though she admits that like his memories are all scrambled and felt no need to say anything to him till much later in the game, where they fall into like a radioactive pit, and instead of killing both of them, it puts her and his memories to like fix his brain. It really makes no sense, and there's a vampire at one point. And then you get little pieces of rock that let you blow up the planet in a random encounter, but then everything's fine afterwards. And I know that's an observation a lot of people have made before, but I'm sorry. I know Final Fantasy VII is this beloved thing, but it's like a middle-of-the-pack Final Fantasy game if we're really being totally honest about it. And I have ranted and raved about this game way more than I intended to when doing my games list. But I can't bring myself to make a whole second video about it, so that was the start of the month, the start of this retro month, Final Fantasy VII. Then on the 6th, there is Bully. I was playing the Scholarship Edition, specifically the Xbox 360 version of the Scholarship Edition, and Bully is actually my favorite Rockstar game of all time. It's the only game I know of, really the only piece of media in general I can think of that actually is kind of honest in what school actually is, because every teacher is incompetent or corrupt, and in many cases both. None of them are good people. All of the students are terrible alongside the protagonist. None of them have any loyalty or redeeming qualities to them. And school is depicted as just one long pain in the ass for our protagonist, Jimmy. And I relate to that a lot. Not in all ways. Jimmy's a short kid, and I was never the short kid in class, but really that game spoke to my experience in school. So every year I gotta play through Bully. Love that game, and I recommend everyone play it in any form you can. Like, if all you can find is the original PS2 version, great. If not, it's available on Steam. And like any computer should be able to run that now. Then on the 9th, we beat Phantasy Star, the original. No, not the original Sega Master System version. We were actually playing the Switch Saga Ages edition that makes the game easier and less grindy, multiplies the amount of gold and experience you get per battle, also lowers the random encounter rate rather substantially. Good game. It is a game of its time from 1987, though, and it feels like an early RPG, and you will probably need to consult a guide at more than one point, but worth playing. Worth playing. Then on the 10th, a game I've been playing for a long time, and this is also a Sega Master System remake, Wonderboy 3 Dragon's Trap. I was playing the Steam version of that, and if you don't know what Wonderboy 3 The Dragon's Trap is. It's a side-scrolling RPG sort of in the vein of Zelda 2, but a little more refined and more cartoony. Very much worth playing, and also is really cheap. And the last game of the month is on the 17th, because, we'll get into that. But on the 17th, completed Toe Jam and Earl Back in the Groove, which is basically just a remake of the original Toe Jam and Earl game. Made all nice and modern graphics, and it was a very fun game to play. Not terribly long. I bought it that morning and beat it before the afternoon. But it's a game that you're not meant to just play through once. Like, that's a game you're going to play through again and again. It has a lot of replay value. And you might ask, well, geez, how come the list ends on the 17th? Well, that's because I then started playing a not retro game anyway, which was Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on Switch, which Xenoblade games are long. And I don't believe I'm even halfway through that game at this point. So, don't know what we're going to do next month, because that might take all of next month. I don't know yet. But hey, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I hope everyone has a wonderful time and enjoyed hearing my nonsensical rant about Final Fantasy VII.